Buckle up. It's the Insurance Dudes podcast.
So I know that anybody that's listening to this is like, oh, this is hokey stuff, and I know that there's going to be a lot of people thinking that, Julian, that you're young. And it's funny that younger people in general, I relate to this more than Craig, because Craig's old and I'm younger than he is. So
Craig's an old man.
Although my hair isn't quite as gray as Jason's, so that's odd.
That's the 4 kids. He only had 2, measured by our hair.
And all these vacations.
Yeah. The younger generations tend to be way more accepting of that. It's all about, state, how things make you feel, the impact that a job creates or that you're creating individually. And then go into like Tony and really trying to get in state and trying to really further yourself in that way seems to resonate more with the younger generation. But when you're talking about visualizing and everything, I think a lot of people don't understand that, might think that that's too hokey.
Let me be clear. You're right about that. And let me just kind of be clear on what I was saying. Nothing is going to cure your problems better than taking action. You can think and say whatever the fuck you want, but if you don't go out there and get in front of people and take action, you're never going to get the results. So just to make that clear. But I met with John Assaraf, if you know who that is. He was on the movie The Secret, and I paid him 13 grand I paid him 13 grand to go to his house for 4 hours in San Diego and learn from him. He has a script of his life that he reads out every day, listens to it, programs himself through different mediums constantly. And he has created his life from doing this. Imagine if Steven Spielberg walked up to you guys and said, tap you on the shoulder, hey, I have this new movie. I think you'd be great as an actor in the movie. I'm going to pay you $10 million. Read this script real quick. If you like it, great. Study the script, learn the script. I'll pay you $10 million to be a part of the movie. What would you do?
Hell yeah.
You'd read it every day. You'd learn the shit out of it. 10 million freaking bucks. You know it. So you can write your own script for your life and do the same thing. And this is what John has done. And he's built $2 billion companies. He took one public for over $1 billion. Remax, which was a real estate company, $4.5 billion a year. Multi-million-dollar companies. I mean, this guy.
He's the guy that started Remax?
He didn't start Remax. He had a Remax agency in Indiana.
Cool.
Yes. So he didn't start the company. I don't know who did that, but they're probably a billionaire.
Probably.
And it still sounds hokey, but I think the reason why that those things work, the logical explanation would be, I think so many times we think, well, I'll try it. And if it works, then this, right? Where when you make these declarations like, I'm going to do this, you throw a lot on the line and then you're super vulnerable. So you're internally thinking, I got to make this happen because I don't want to let everyone down. I just told everybody I'm going to do this. So I think psychologically, making these kind of declarations, it's exactly what Robin Sharma talks about. But making these kind of declarations is key, and it's not hokey.
No,
it's really not.
You're writing your story, man. You're writing your story.
And if you were to take a bunch of action with a belief that it's not going to work, let's say you go meet with 100 people, or you go knock on 100 doors in the neighborhood, and this has been said by Tony Robbins, so I'm kind of stealing it. But if you knock on 100 doors and they answer the door and you're like, you wouldn't want to buy this, would you? You don't want to buy this.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple people would buy out of pity. But if you have that internal belief that it's not going to work out, I mean, the action, it's not going to move you where you want. So
your energy is creating the negative result right there.
Absolutely. And your belief. So if you start with the belief and the certainty and you prime yourself first, and then you take that action, you're going to get more quality in that action.
Right.
Love it.
So what prevents people from doing that?
Yeah.
Fear.
That's what he was asking.
Prevents you from taking the action or from.
Yeah. What prevents people from installing that framework into their being, into doing?
Belief that it's not going to work. Or that's too hokey.
So what's the fear? Is it the fear that they're going to fail?
Failure.
Probably fear of doing something new. And probably fear of failure, I'd say.
Yeah.
Maybe even fear of success.
Right.
It's a good question.
Fail fast, right? You got to be,
100%.
Entrepreneurs just have to accept that you're going to screw up and it's okay.
Yeah.
It's you're going to get 90 no's for every 10 yeses.
What is that one? Perfection is the enemy of
execution. Yeah. If you look at the most successful people, and let's just take the insurance industry because that's where we're in, there's something different about what they believe. You could take 2 people, same amount of skills, same talents, run the same amount of appointments. One gets better results than the other one. Why is that? There's something internally going on that's different. Now, I'm not saying they're attracting success and attracting law of attraction. Listen, the law of Goya get off your ass is also a very valid law. Okay.
Yeah.
But the mindset there is different. And so have you guys ever been in bed one night and you're thinking about falling off a cliff and your body just like jolts and thinks it's real? Your brain can't tell the difference between what you're imagining and what's real. So if I go in imagining this client's going to say no, they probably don't want it, they're probably all good, the price is too expensive, and I go in there, I'm going to get those same objections. They're going to tell me the same things that I'm thinking, right? But if I go in there knowing, hey, I'm just here to help this person in any way I can, I'm going to do something. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I'm going to try to help them the best I can. You come from that service mentality, make it about them with that certainty. Like for me, that's just what's worked for me.
I have to read this quote because it's on point. It was going to be read in a coffee talk, and maybe we still will, because I think that it's so powerful and I think it's so pertinent to what we're talking about. So this is Ralph Waldo Emerson. I think he's a famous author, right?
Yes.
So this is what he wrote. Whatever you do, you need courage, right? I mean, we're talking about having courage here to do these things that seem hokey or whatever. You're going to come up with every excuse why they don't work. Whatever course you decide upon, there's always someone to tell you that you are wrong. There are always difficulties arising that tempt you to believe your critics are right. I mean, I think that's so powerful, right?
Love that.
You create, which reestablishes how important it is to have that purpose, right? What's your purpose? And putting it down, writing it out, doing the affirmation. Yes. And even when it's like, to what Kobe said, even when it's really going great, something is tilted the other direction, right? And then you go over there and you're like, shit. And you focus on what it is instead of maybe focusing on the solution.
For me, whenever I get off track, it's because I'm not looking at my goals and I don't know where I'm going. Like one small thing that people can do is just write their goals down every day. And you guys have probably all heard this, but are you doing it? Like write them down. Because when I write them down, I have like a purpose to why I'm doing what I'm doing. Like on days that I just don't want to fucking meet with anybody, I don't want to go talk to people and get up and do this. When I write my goals down, I'm like, oh, that's why I'm doing this. That makes sense. And it like connects the purpose. And when you have it in each area, I think you come in with a different intention instead of just allowing things to happen. The intention behind it is different.
Yeah. Intention.
Yes.
Love intention.
I think especially in insurance, it's so easy to get sidetracked by a billion things. Like I think we have so much stuff that we can do. And unless we're incredibly intentional in our day, the day moves on. How many insurance agents do you know that hasn't really grown or complain or something like that? Seems to be pretty, you hear it a lot more frequent because it's so easy to be sidetracked.
Well, in the P&C world, there's $1 million books, right? And you're not doing much with $1 million book.
Yeah, it's true. Very true. One person you guys need on the show is Josh Lustig. Do you guys know Josh?
No.
He's doing, I think his team's, he has an LOA shop, a career agency, and they're doing over 100 med subs a month. And he just paid a lot of money to get access to Marshall Silver. If you guys know who that is. He spoke at 8% last year. He's a big personal development guy, and they're doing some huge things. So he's a big personal development and mindset guy as well.
Okay.
That
we have
is
Cody
freaking
on.
Crushing it. Cody's awesome too. Love Cody. I'm in Springfield, Missouri, so he's not too far away from me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Well, what would you, coming back to industry from back to your former self 3 years ago, what would be the number one piece of advice you'd give yourself now going through these last 3 years and coming very far? What would help condense that time and really help catapult your...
A lot. Holy crap, that's a lot of advice. The one thing I would say, I see a lot of people that don't celebrate enough. And it sounds counterintuitive. And I still have this piece in me where I'm afraid if I celebrate what I already have done, I'm going to be complacent. And I'm like, no, fuck that. I don't want to feel good. I want to keep doing more. I don't want to lose my hunger. And they go into this like trap. And eventually a lot of people, not everybody, will burn out. And I think it's important to celebrate your wins. Right? When you go crush it for the day, you write 10 policies or whatever it may be. You're like, fuck yes, whatever you want to do to celebrate, you can make it your own. Celebrate what you did and then go back on track. Give yourself a couple minutes to just pat yourself on the back and then move forward after that. Because that's where the fulfillment comes from, in my opinion. If you don't attach the dopamine and the winning from the process, right? It's never going to be enough. There's always somebody doing more. You can always compare yourself to other people and say, hey, they have 1 million more policies than me. There's always another level for you. But in my opinion, it's about celebrating while you're going there and then always raising the bar as well. I think you can do both. And that's still something I freaking struggle with, but I've gotten a lot better at it.
Yeah. Nice.
I love that. I'm the same way. I mean, it's so hard for me to just slow down and go, oh, this is cool. Like 3 years ago or even a year ago, we're this much further. And I always try to start off the day thinking of what I'm grateful for. Some days I forget, but like really just absorbing it all in. And I think that can also help create that.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, celebrate it. I mean, we're all, especially for I would say almost anybody that's trying to get further, that you're honestly really trying to make improvements in your life and you're doing something daily, you are making improvements and you have to celebrate that stuff in order to continue that path.
You guys are achievers, so it's always the next thing. Like, we got to do more. We're going to do better. We're going to get this person on. You got fucking Robin Sharma on. That's badass. You said 200 episodes. That's crazy.
We're almost at 300 now. 300.
Dude, that's insane.
We're creeping up. 10 more to 300, I think.
And I'm sure your guys' network has just gotten huge from doing this.
I turn off Messenger
definitely.
on Facebook.
Definitely. No, it's been awesome. It's been a crazy awesome experience. Meet awesome agents, meet some people outside the industry. That's incredible too. We get to title episodes like Robin Sharma, like Don't Squeeze the Sharma, which was
Did we call it
fun.
that? I can't remember if we actually called it that, but that was one of the titles that we came up with. It was Don't Squeeze the Sharma.
Every time somebody says Robin Sharma, that's all I think of.
I think Don't Squeeze the Sharma.
I've got to watch that episode.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
Or you can listen in the car on
on
iTunes.
It's true. I'll download it right now.
Yeah.
One thing that I'll never forget that he was, we were talking about afterwards and stuff. And he's like, man, what was he saying? That he was a lawyer, right? He's a lawyer right before. And he was saying that, I just wasn't happy.
Lawyer.
Like, yeah.
And he was making shit tons.
And he wasn't happy. He didn't have that fulfillment like you were talking about. Yeah. And he was talking and he just said, I just need to change. And so he's like, I'm not perfect or anything like that. I just knew I needed to change. And I just started on this journey. And it's like, such a real dude. It was a really cool conversation.
Hanging out in his hotel room, had his hat on. He was really cool.
Just
really
chilling.
Cool. And it's the same thing. Like we had our journey, I was struggling to stay even after having a pretty decent sized book, but the bigger you get, the more you have to write. And it just gets challenging. And then we just kept talking to more agents, learning more, growing, opening other agencies. And now all of a sudden we're really clicking along. But the fulfillment for us, I think, is being entrepreneurial. So that's why we've branched out. We have this, we have the Teledudes. And so all the different stuff is making it really fun because we get to.
Yeah. And I think state is huge going back to that because my opinion on the purpose deal is a little bit different. I wasn't fortunate enough like Michael Jordan or like Kobe Bryant to figure out what their purpose was when they were born and pursue it their whole lives. I think you can have multiple purposes and they can evolve and attach to each other. But I think a lot of it is your state too, because there's going to be days like Kobe Bryant had days where he did not want to play basketball, even though he loved it. Like he loved it. You're going to have those days, but I think it goes back to your state and how you think about what you do that gets you fulfillment. Like, I don't think you just stumble into something that becomes your purpose. It's how you feel about it. It's your movement. Are you happy before doing it? And then going into it, are you still happy?
Yeah.
So that's been big for me because I don't always want to meet with clients or sell policies, even though I love what I do. I love meeting with people. Sometimes I just don't want to.
Yeah.
But it's when I get myself back into just being happy in general or in a good state, it kind of puts me back on the line. So
you got to be consistent. Right? Like going to the gym or even us doing the podcast, there were weeks where it was like, oh, we got to do 8 episodes this week. Or we just said, it's going to help. Like we came from a position of wanting to learn and wanting to help, right? Because there aren't a lot of resources for the agents. There's the Cody's and some other great resources out there, but not a lot of really good resources. And we wanted to be able to put that out there. And really serve the agent because everybody's coming after the agents now. The carriers are coming out. In the PNC side, it's getting tough. The carriers are competing with the agents. You have the Lizards and the Flows doing their thing. And so it's really challenging. And so I think that there aren't a lot of resources and agents come in ill-equipped and they'll sink a lot of money into this and not realize what they're getting into. And without purpose and without having their day structured, it can get away from them. Right. And all of a sudden, 5 years later, you got $1 million book and you're like, holy crap, I owe this and I only have $1 million. I'm screwed. And we want to try to help curb that. And I think that we are breaking through a little bit.
You guys are crushing it, and thank you so much for starting this. It's awesome, and I'm sure you guys are impacting a lot of people. I think one thing I just thought of is getting some small wins for yourself. A big thing for me with fulfillment and purpose is being proud of who I am, doing what I say I'm going to do. If you tell yourself, like one thing that people can apply right now, right? Because I want to be able to add some value too. If you say you're going to get up at 5 a.m. tomorrow, get up at 5 a.m., celebrate the fact that you got up at 5 a.m. Like, boom, instantly you're going to be happier. Winning is fucking awesome, right? It feels good when you're proud of yourself and when you feel good. Like when you're doing the same shit that you said you're going to do, it feels amazing. And then you go get some wins, and then the wins get bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you start with small wins, like getting up when you say, going to the gym, whatever it is that you think you should do, just do those things and then reward yourself for them. And it'll just stack and you'll get momentum, and momentum will help move you forward. It'll make it a lot easier.
Yeah. 100%.
Absolutely.
Whereas Jason would say, how would you say 100%?
100.
100%.
Well, Julian, thank you so much. We've taken up a ton of your time, and we appreciate you coming on the podcast.
So good.
If somebody wants to find you, what could they do to do that? Besides texting us at 520-214-2219 and us sending your contact information.
Please reach out to me on Facebook if you find the good leads that we mentioned. Please message me.
On Facebook?
I need the good leads.
Yeah, love it. The Glenn Ross leads. If you're too young for that movie, but that's the best.
I probably am too young for that movie.
Yeah, it's a good one. Well, cool. Well, thanks for stopping by. We'll probably see you down the road. It's been awesome to have you, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah, appreciate
Great meeting you.
Awesome.
Great meeting you.
Boom.
Thanks.
Let's go. Thanks, guys.
Boom.
Hey, Jason.
Yes, Mr. Craig.
That was another awesome episode, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to get a little bit more action and learn how to write 100,000 in premium off of even the worst internet leads, where could they go?
They can go to live.teledudes.com.
Ooh, that sounds exciting. Are we going to be there?
Yes, it's a weekly call that we're doing right now it's live, and it will show you the process. The entire process is super awesome.
I love it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Sign up right now, live.teledudes.com.
Live.teledudes.com. That's live.teledudes.com.
Hey, Craig, there's a new community that we are starting that I cannot wait to tell everybody about. It is our live texting community where you and I are going to answer people's questions and give them free content, right?
Are you kidding me? We get to talk to them?
Yeah, which is awesome, but they have to opt in. They have to text us at 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
Nice.
Craig, are you going to respond to these texts?
I'm going to respond to them for sure. Live.
I'm into it too. It's going to be awesome. And it's going to be our new texting community where we're going to get back to everybody that we can and drop some crazy content, free content, and free the calculator that you just came up with. That's right. The calling calculator, sales material. I mean, everything for insurance agents. This is it. It's the best texting community out there for insurance agents.
Well, what the heck is that number again? I can't remember it.
It's 520-214-2219. That's 520-214-2219.
I love it. I'm going to text it right now.
520-214-2219.
All right. I'll see you later, Mr. Jason.
Bye, Mr. Craig.
Wait, do they even listen to this on the radio anymore?
I love it. I love it.
Nice.
All right.